This is Self-Publishing with Dale here on Friday, 9:15 a.m. Eastern Daytime. And it's time for another Answering Comments live session. And if you happen to be tuning into this live, or if you want to tune into future lives such as this, where it's a members-only live chat, make sure that you join the channel memberships. But rest assured, if you're not a member, you can stay, you can watch. It's totally cool. I'm all right with that. Heck, work and lurk. You can always just put that video on the background and continue to work whatever you're doing today. But it's awesome either way that you spend some time with me. If you want to learn a little bit more about channel memberships, click the join button down below this video or go into my description. There is a link to the channel memberships and it goes to a video. I explain the whole process and how it helps support this channel. Speaking of support this channel, I want to say that this month I am very happy to have the sponsors of Author Brand Kits. It's the one-stop shop for your author platform. Look, folks, they get your website done for you. They get your email set up. They get your email marketing going. They get you all your social media reserved for you. Everything done for you, turnkey. It's really awesome. And not to mention, Author Brand Kits is an ally partner. That's the Alliance of Independent Authors with an excellent rating. So, folks, don't rest on this one right here. If you've been waiting and waiting and waiting and saying, I'm going to get a website done, you know what? Stop kicking tires. Get a website going, get everything going as an author. So that way, all you got to do is worry about writing and publishing. Author Brand Kits takes care of the rest for you. That's over at dalelinks.com/ABK. Again, that's dalelinks.com/ABK. And there's still a huge 25% discount. So take advantage of that now, okay? We'll probably touch on them again before we disconnect. Honestly, I work directly with Author Brand Kits, and I've seen them work with a couple of other authors as well. It's just amazing, incredible work. So thorough, you're set up with everything. All right. We're going to be answering some comments. And by the way, post any kind of questions that you have inside the live chat here. If you're a channel member, you can be able to do that. And you can also even just drop a super chat, and that will also, if you're not a channel member, you can be able to do that. But all right, questions. I know that I saw one right before I went live, SL Michaels, which, by the way, big shout out to SL Michaels. She is one of the tier 3 channel members here on this channel and a good friend of mine. So Samantha says, hey Dale, I came across a service called Book Siren for ARCs. Is this something that would be worth my $10 a month? I've heard good things about Book Siren. I have yet to use them myself. Why don't let's do just a little research. Why not? Okay. Everything's looking pretty good. Oh yeah. Ally, Kindlepreneur. So it's definitely checking up. I want to just cross-check this just to be safe. I'm going to go over and look and make sure that Ally endorses them. So we're going to go to Watchdog. This is at dalelinks.com/watchdog, and this is available to everybody. So if you ever want to do that, come on in here. So what I'll do is I'll search the database. We'll go Book Sirens. I'm not sure if it's all one word or just, oh yeah, it's probably all one word. So we'll go ahead and move back. Yeah, excellent partner. Excellent partner. The reason why this is such a big deal, the Alliance of Independent Authors is an indie author run organization. It's nonprofit. So it's made by indie authors for indie authors, and they're typically curating great services and information and resources. And part of offering those resources, this one is just publicly available to everybody at dalelinks.com/watchdog. That's just a pretty link to take you guys there so you remember, because the other way is selfpublishingadvice.org/best-self-publishing-services. You can see how that was a little harder to say. So at any rate, yeah, go on over there onto that. And if I ever see that there's a service that's not on that list, I believe somewhere on this page is a form where you can drop in a recommendation, or at least a link to a form that you drop in a recommendation like, hey, could you check out, in this instance, Book Sirens, if they weren't on there. From my understanding, they're probably backed up with a lot of requests. So if you put in something that seems kind of sketchy and it's not on there, don't think that they're going to be like, well, let me drop everything I'm going to do so I can go investigate this website. They've got a lot of stuff, so I'm sure they're just trying to chip away. But this is a great resource, folks. It's 100% free, and but awesome. So there you go, Samantha. Hopefully that helps out. Grap, how you doing? How you doing? I love seeing these ripe bananas here next to people's names there. So like SL Michaels, Gold, MMO King. How you doing, King? It's great to see you. And of course, Grap, they have the ripened banana. Now your next step, I think the banana might end up being 2 bananas. I'm forgetting what the channel memberships, what I did with that one. Okay, hey, let's jump into things. I do want to point out a couple of things that are going to be happening this week. and that will be a self-publishing stream video series. It's going to continue every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Daytime. We're going to be talking about how the unlikely duo of self-publishing and live streaming work really, really well together. Alexis Solio, thank you so much for becoming a podcast patron. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And as a new channel member, make sure that you keep an eye on the community tab here on this channel, because I throw in a little extra something for you guys every now and then. So Mojo says, leaving the gym. Great to see you, Mojo. Big shout out to Mojo. She's a tier 3 sponsor here of this channel. Thank you so much, Mojo, for the support. I'm doing good. Awesome. So self-publishing stream series. All right, got that off my chest. Next week, of course, we'll be answering comments live. Later today, I'm going to go ahead and grab this link here. Copy link address. And I'm going to drop this into the chat. If you want to join me tonight, I'm going to be doing a keynote speech at the WWJ Fall Author Conference. I am super, super excited to actually, be part of something like this. Tony Jacobson, thank you so much for that super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He's hooking me up with some coffee money, even though I probably don't drink coffee. So maybe we'll say it's milkshake money. But at any rate, join me tonight, though, for the keynote speech. It will be for the WWJ Fall Author Conference. It's called More Than an Author, Monetizing Your Brand Beyond Your Books. I think if you want to get your wick lit, make sure that you come on up, watch this. It's live in various areas. So for instance, it will be live on, I'm forgetting her name. Just click on the link though, and it'll send you on over there with all the information that you need to know. The conference is already happening. I think it started back at 8 o'clock this morning, and it goes throughout the night, and then tomorrow as well. From what I could see, they've got an all-star lineup with some good speakers coming and talking about writing and such. So, what causes a writer to become flagged on draft to digital? Ooh. You're probably going to need to ask them if you end up getting flagged. What did I get flagged for? But I would say common issues typically stem from something related to Amazon. There have been a number of times where people have gotten their accounts closed for one reason or another, whether it was justified or not. Then they try to take that catalog and then upload it through Draft to Digital. Now, regardless of it being distributed to Amazon, Draft to Digital still tries to keep things in order. And so if something has been blacklisted or blackballed over on Amazon KDP, chances are very likely you're not going to be able to get away with it over in Draft to Digital. Other things that would trigger that off, it's kind of tough. I'm not thinking of any off the top of my head, but that was probably the main reason why someone gets flagged on Draft to Digital. They're a great company. Communicate with them. Make sure that you if you've got concerns, reach out to them. Maybe even reach out to their support and ask them that very question. Hey, what are some of the common reasons? I need to probably bring Kevin Tumlinson from Draft to Digital back onto the channel and have an interview with him. A fascinating guy, a lot of fun. He has just the perfect voice for podcasting and such. Just a tremendous dude. But maybe I should bring him on one of these times, and he could probably answer something a little bit better than what I would. So, all right. So, moving on. Best website for hosting beginners. I didn't read it quite right. Best website hosting for beginners. What you need to know now. That will be this next week for the podcast. All right, folks. Let's jump into these channel comments. All right. For context, you'll see on the right-hand side there's a video. That's typically what they're commenting on. On the left-hand side, you'll see their name and their profile picture. Just as a heads up, I cannot be held responsible for things people say inside these comments. So that means parental guidance advised. Sarah Jane Galvin says, I have watched all of your videos on KDP and self-publishing, and it seems really interesting to me. Oh, it seems interesting to me too. I'm willing to put in the work, but I don't want to start if it is going to end up being a dead end for me. Basically, I don't know if it's worth the work or if you have one self-publishing service that you think is the best. Hopefully this makes sense. Thank you for your videos. Sarah Jane, this is a tough one to answer. I mean, You know, the path of least resistance is going to be Amazon KDP. There are so many variables, I can't begin to guess what would work best for you. Just keep tuning in, and maybe you'll find your answer. Thanks for the question. All right. Micah L says, I need to make a good mock-up of the inside of my book. BookBrush has the best mock-ups, but I don't see a paperback look inside interior mock-up. Do you know where I can find this, please? Ooh, have you ever recommended that to them? That's actually a good idea. Thumbs up. You get a heart. Kaylee Rose, romance author, says, thank you so much for the updates. I appreciate the time you put in to give us current and relevant content. Thank you, Kaylee Rose. I appreciate that. We're going to click on my pleasure. As always, thanks for watching and commenting. Yeah, sometimes my fingers just says, you know, I'm going to go ahead and write whatever I want to. You get a thumbs up, Kaylee. Thank you so much for tuning in. Did you know you can... Why did I not give you a heart? You get a heart. Of course you do. Do you know if you can utilize the Amazon A+ content and Kobo if you're going through Ingram Spark? I'm thinking the only way you're going to be able to access A+ content if you're not publishing directly through KDP is... I imagine it'll eventually make something that available through like Author Central. But right now, unfortunately, if you're not publishing directly through Amazon KDP, you're going to need an Amazon Advantage account. However, they have it gated right now. They're only accepting so many people. You can apply for it. But the biggest issue is if you want to do A+ content, you know, globally, as opposed to just being regional, Amazon KDP is probably the best way to go. So I know this is a kind of a long answer to a short question. It's just going to come down to, like, you're going to probably have to have both if you want to have the Amazon A+ content. Now, as far as Kobo goes, I'm not sure where Kobo figures into this. Maybe you're talking about Kobo Plus. You can still utilize Kobo Plus, yeah. That's just a different thing altogether. So, sadly, you're going to need an Amazon Advantage account. And it's gated. Otherwise, you'll need to publish your title through KDP for A+. I have no idea where Kobo fits into this question. Ingram Spark distributes to them, I believe. I'll have to double check that. I don't remember every last detail in self-publishing, folks. Where everybody thinks I'm kind of like this encyclopedia. Honestly, there's sometimes I have to just Google up some of my answers. I was hoping that you would cover this. I'm working on creating the content for it now. Nice. Sweet. Let me know how it goes. That's too many exclamation points. Come on, Dale. Take it easy. Thumbs up. Heart. Ah, my boy Ross. Always good hearing from Ross. This is a powerful new feature. Thanks for bringing us the good news. You got it, man. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I'm going crazy on these exclamation points today. People probably think I'm shouting at them, but I'm not doing it all caps, so I think we're good to go, right? Dale, what is a finished hour, please? I enjoy you podcast a lot. Thank you. Finished. Okay, so finished price per hour works in that the actual finished content of the audiobook. So if your audiobook is 2.5 hours, then what it's going to come down to is if you hire a narrator, 99% of narrators will do the per finished hour deal where you're paying them a pretty substantial amount of money. But keep in mind that that doesn't just cover, that 1 hour. What it's doing is it's covering that production, everything from the laying the groundwork to understanding your manuscript to recording it, editing it down, mastering it, and all that stuff. So I think a lot of people kind of cringe when they're just like, initially it's always, it kind of makes me chuckle when someone's just like, $50, that's expensive per finished hour. I'm like, you are lucky if you find somebody who is doing 50 and is really good. If they are, treasure them, because that is dirt cheap. That is really, really, really cheap. I went and did a little bit of a case study, never released it or anything else like that. I went and recorded my audiobooks over at a local studio, and it ran me $50 per hour to rent out the studio. And I did probably like 4 to 6 hours at a time. It varies each time that I go up there. When I figured out how much time it took me to read it, it was beyond the amount that actually came to the finished product because of bloopers. You got to go back, punch back in, things like that. But all said and done, I figured out, based on the number of times that I went in and just kind of averaged everything out, that if I wanted to break even as a narrator, let's pretend like you hired me as a narrator, at the pace that I did, as well as editing and such, I would run $125 per finished hour. That means that in order for me to break even, I need to have at least 125. So if somebody were to come up to me and say $50, I'd laugh them right out the door. But like, that's how much it costs me just to use the stinking studio. Like, you think that I'm just, yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah. No, it just doesn't work that way. So this is why per finished hour, typically, if you're going to find a good narrator, it's going to run at least $150 to $250 per finished hour. Again, if you find somebody who's inexpensive, treasure them, hold on to them, make sure that you give them like some bonuses every now and then, because man, it's tough to find that. And trust me, I found some $50 per finished hour folks, and but eventually they kind of figured out what their worth was, and they were like, yeah, we're jacking our rates up for sure, and that's understandable, totally understandable. So I've got to explain this now to Christine. Per finished hour is a rate you pay for audiobook narration. Let's say your audiobook is about 1.5 hours. Now, you know what we're going to say? 4.5 hours. There we go. Of content, then your narrator would be creating 4.5 hours of finished content. And if they charge $250, let's round this out because I hate doing math, especially right now. If they charge $100 per finished hour for your 4.5 hour book, come on, dash there, Dale. Then it's going to cost $4,500, right? Correct? Yes. My math off on this? Come on now, Dale. Really? Am I doing this? I think I am doing this. 4.5 times 100. $450. Come on, Dale. Gosh darn it. Not the sharpest tool in the shed here this morning, folks. Make sense? Boom. There we go. Thumbs up. You get a heart. Great question. Easy graphics. Good to see you there, buddy. Outstanding tips. Been wanting to live stream my writing. Not sure my audience will want to tune in. I remember joining your sprints many sprints. Yeah, you did. Love it. Yes. Thanks so much. I'd say give it a shot or two. You never know what'll come of it. I thought I've seen you do the easy graphics you happen to be watching. So I thought I saw you do some productivity sprints before, but maybe I'm completely off on that. A Honda Lover 3000 says, enjoy watching and listening to your videos so far, Dale. The talk is authentic. Keep it up. That's an older one. So cool. That's awesome. Thank you so much. You get a thumbs up and a heart, Honda Lover. It just happens that I like Hondas too. I Am Passion says, hey, Dale, it's great to hear. By the way, we're going to probably lose the last 2 thumbs here, and I'll have to give you guys some context when I get up to that. All right. Hey, Dale, it's great to hear that you had an experience with selling your book with Google. I was wondering if you had the experience, the change of price in your books before. If so, can you tell me how much royalties you received? It would help me a lot because I'm currently writing a book and planning on selling my books on this platform. This is my first time ever doing this, and I would be more inspired to make a decision to go for it. I never paid close enough attention to it, but I have heard some people had their prices dropped without their consent. Don't need it, honestly. Well, you know, I don't know, that's going to open up a whole can of worms. Without their consent, and got the royalty at, come on, why are you covering up my stuff here at that rate? There we go. Thumbs up. I can't heart that. All right, Thomas A. Bradley says, on the effective ways to drive traffic to your website, podcast. Love it. More to come? Guess I'm not sure where Prodcast came from. Skyrider says, on the last week's answering comments, looking forward to it, Dale. Skyrider, thank you so much for commenting. Thanks so much for watching and commenting. And I know there's probably some of you that actually come back to this and watch this video in 2x. And big shout out to all you guys. Those that watch this on replay. It's awesome. And of course, the long guy was waiting for us. Ooh, okay, so I see a question here from Grap. Anyone know how Vela's going? Are people seeing readers? You know, I have not heard much. I've heard a couple people fairly underwhelmed, but they would admit it that, you know, they didn't have very much content up there to begin with. And then I heard from somebody else, Kevin McGuire, a good friend here of the channel. He had mentioned that the deeper your catalog is on Kindle Vela, the more they'll show you some love. And I think that's probably for good reason, because they want to make sure that there's just bingeable content for people to go on there. So they may lean in favor of someone who has more content right now. So that way it gets the Amazon customers more aware of this new option. It seems old to us, but it's brand new to the market. Remember, we're kind of in this bubble. Most readers are outside of that bubble, and they're not aware of like all this work that has gone into Kindle Vela. So chances are very likely, I think Amazon's going to do what is best for Amazon's bottom line, and which that means they want to make sure they take care of the customers. What's one of the ways to do that? Give them plenty of content so it keeps them on the platform. I think there was a huge reason why in their guidelines for Vela that they didn't want any outbound links in your content. They mentioned that, like, no outbound links, that type of thing. They want to keep people in the Amazon Kindle Vela ethos. And if you try to trickle past that, that's an issue, because then they're going to stop reading, which means they're going to stop spending their tokens, which means that Vela is going to be a failed experiment. It would be nice to see this go really well, because with it being tested here in the US, I know there's a lot of people outside of here would love to do it in their markets. And if you're in other markets, maybe now's a good time to be putting together that content if you aren't already. So that way, when it does come available in your area, you can fire off and take advantage of that. So, alrighty. Let me switch on over. I'm going to go over to the main channel. And I got to shut off the screen there for just a second because I got to do the log in and log out thing. Alrighty. Oh, I never checked held for review. That'll be all right. All right, here we go. Don't think we only got a handful of comments over on the main channel today, so today might be a shorter broadcast. Ray Merrill, Polar Bear, yes. So I know exactly what they're talking about. I have to go over to my Dale Links page here. Give me just a moment, folks. Alrighty. Now what you doing? What are you doing over there? All right. I'm pretty sure I've got the pretty link for Polar Bear. Yeah, right here. I believe you mean this guy. Boom. Awesome. Thumbs up and heart. Thank you so much, Ray, for the support. You're always awesome to me. Katilya Raghav says, hi, Dale. Is it worth it to have bid of 2 cents per click on $2 profit? Either it loses money or make good sales. Please reply to explain it. 2 cents isn't gonna get you much of anything. Too many advertisers are bidding up the good keywords, so you'll likely get cheap, irrelevant keywords for your campaign at 2 cents per click. But give it a shot. Maybe it'll work for you. There you go. Thumbs up. Appreciate that. Ross, of course, here. Dale is self-publishing. You're so sweet to me, man. I appreciate it. Which, by the way, speaking of, folks, I'm not sure if you had caught the interview that I had this past week with my boy Ross over on the main channel. We talked about his recent released book, 100 Live Streaming and Digital Media Predictions. Between his ebook and his print book, he hit #1 bestseller. I believe he ended up being in the top 5,000 ebooks in all of Kindle Store. He's just annihilated lately. And you can go get yourself a copy of this. Look up Ross Brand live streaming on Amazon, and you can pick up a copy. Big shout out to my boy Ross. Just a sweetheart of a guy, honestly. And you guys can probably be able to find out how, he was able to get himself into all those categories. What was the steps that he went through? He, ended up working with over 100 different influencers and people within the video creation space, online entrepreneurship in general. So yeah, that was a great interview. Go over to the main channel, take a look at it. But thanks, buddy. Thumbs up and heart. Look at that. He has been publicly subscribed for 2 years now. Thumbs up and heart. Glad you liked the cover and inside. Your recommendations for Fiverr were spot on. Thanks again. I appreciate you giving them a shot. Yeah, the people did his book did fabulous. Danielle Camerlinga was the person who did the his cover. So did this, beautiful layout. I know Ross spent hours upon hours trying to craft his own cover, and at one point I was like, it looked pretty good. But I was like, why don't you just give her a shot? You're going to be surprised. He's like, okay, all right, I'll try it. And he came back to me and he was just elated. He was like, oh my gosh, she really is that good. She is good. And then he ended up having Polar Bear do the interior. Shout out to Polar Bear, because I'm going to tell you this interior it's phenomenal. A lot of images. It's broken up with some quotes, things like that. It is really very professional. But Polar Bear was the one, and that was what I was answering earlier. I think Ray Merrill had asked, Polar Bear, like, who is this? Yeah. So if you go to dalelinks.com/polar bear, you'll be able to see that he does the interior. He actually offered it at a very affordable price, considering how much work that was involved. I was like, you got it for what? You got it for what? And he told me, and I was like, that's crazy. That's way cheaper than what I expected, because I know let me go ahead and share with you here. When I got my interior done for Amazon Keywords for Books, this was a very deliberate process. That so you see the header, or the header up here, and the actual text itself, the search bar, everything. Like, that was very, very, like, I wanted to be very specific. And if you go to the end of each chapter, I wanted to have like some type of graphic that represented what we were talking about in there. And if you look a little closer too, come in here, you can see again, it's kind of like that same theme on that header. I really wanted to kind of make this thing pop, and I went and I had negotiated with a number of people out there, and I remember one person quoting me. I'm thinking it was like $2,000, like 2,000, and he's like, that's a minimum, was what pretty much he was telling me. It could probably cost more, depending, because I went to him and I'm like, I explained the situation, and he's like, ooh. I'll tell you this, Ross spent nowhere near that amount. And I will say this, that Ross's book had a lot more going on inside of it than what I was wanting. So I'm looking at Polar Bear, and I'm like, yeah. By the way, Archangel Inc. ended up doing my interior. So, and that was done on sorry, I can't share with you, based on a sponsorship. So it was all part of that deal. So, all right. Well, hey, that was all of the comments for the day. Good Lord, we burned through them like it was nothing. Hang on. Maybe we can have a good laugh. Held for Review might have something. Nah, dang. That is okay. That is okay. All right. So, man, I'm going to take a little sip here. We're coming to the end of the broadcast. Sadly enough, I usually go for about an hour and a half, but today just wasn't that day. I do appreciate everybody tuning in. A big shout out over to Mojo Seedlock and SL Michaels for being the Tier 3 channel members. You want to learn more about channel memberships, click the join right below this video, or inside the description, there's a link right on over to it. It's a great way to contribute to the channel. Think of it kind of like Patreon, but it stays here on YouTube. If you can stay on YouTube, that really helps me help you. So thank you so much. And even if you can't become a channel member, thank you for watching. That means the world to me. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and cut the feed. Join me tonight for my keynote speech at the WWJ Author Conference 2021. I'll be doing the keynote speech. I'm beyond excited about that. I will see you folks